Greetings, comrades, and hello, everyone. I'm Quint866. Welcome to me talking about Megaman, and no, not the classic or the X franchise, or Battle Network for that matter. But if I can be honest with you guys, I'm actually okay with Megaman Legends. At least the 64 version, Megaman 64. You see, even though Mega Man Legends has had some good minor details, I really want to say Mega Man 64, aka Mega Man Legends 1 on the PS1, is actually a decent game, and I'm not going to go into every detail, but I am going to stick with something that always stuck with me the most when it comes to the design of Mega Man Legends, and Mega Man in general for that matter, the bosses. You see, you think they'd be something like 8 Robot Masters, right? Well, no, not this time around, unfortunately. But, you know what? I'm okay with that. It's nice to have a little twist of events after boom, charge shot, and you instantly kill the boss, and he's just a pushover with his own weakness of the other boss's weapon. Like, guys, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's fun, and it's kind of neat if you want to do just the Mega Buster, which is part of my hat, by the way. But it still is hard to memorize the patterns for me personally. So either way, I have to be a noob or I have to be a bad A-word. So I don't have much choices there. But in Mega Man Legends, there's a balance in difficulty for the most part. So anyways, without time to waste, let's haste right into Mega Man Legends bosses. Sorry, I won't point at the screen so I don't shoot somebody's eyeballs out. Okay, boss 1, the Hammer Rudol. Believe it or not, this is literally the very first fight in the entire game. And it's like literally set minutes after the opening cutscene. The guy here is using the Infinite Buster upgrade. Why I say Bower, that's not even a word. But it's still a good boss, and it had my attention considering you had to escape from an abandoned dungeon. Cool concept and a great way to get my attention at the start of a game. The fight is also very easy, even without the Infinity Max Buster, by the way. Now, this part of the game was actually a pretty good little first real boss. It's not really a hard fight, but it is the first true main boss, rather than just the introductory boss. Tron Bonne, one of the main villains of this game, actually sends out her servbots to try and kill you. Or at least, if they can't kill you, not let you get the key to enter in the rest of the town, past this huge gate. And this boss fight's okay. I mean, it's not too hard, but it is a pushover when you know where the key is. So, if you find the key, this battle's a cakewalk. And since the boss constantly goes through with the key changing places between the servbots, it's kind of an interesting concept, I'll admit. Just a bit too easy, if you ask me. And speaking of too easy, here's Tron Bonne directly after the servbot boss fight. So not only did you get the key for nothing, even though you could just walk away, no, Tron Bonne decides to come in and stop you herself. She's not difficult, but she's just annoying. The next boss is a little bit after Tron Bonne. Not quite as long, but it's not directly after it either. Anyways, this boss is Bon Bon, and what the actual hell? I'm sorry guys, I don't mean to curse, but come on, this thing looks like a wind-up toy. He doesn't even look that scary for a boss. He doesn't intimidate me. Well, I mean, when he shoots out missiles, and I think he's a wind-up toy, that's kind of weird and intimidating. But come on, the thing looks like a wind-up toy with a baby head and one of those party poppers going, Durr! It's just pathetic. And the sounds are the worst. Wow. The boss actually says hi. It really is a baby-headed wind-up toy that shoots missiles that kind of creep me out. Now this boss actually killed me on my first try. Good work, T-Bon, who's the name of this boss, by the way. And no, as much to my disappointment and confusion, T-Bon is not Tron-Bon. He's a green-armored, white-haired guy who leads the Bon family. And believe it or not, Tron-Bon, I don't know what her relation is to T-Bon. So not only do you have to confusingly switch between Tron-Bon and T-Bon, who I don't actually know T-Bon's first name. I know Tron's because of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but I do not know T-Bon's for the love of God. And Bonbon's another member too, the one you saw earlier. And the serve bots are, well, the minions. This boss is some tricky to avoid little green energy orb attack, and it constantly goes around the stage, but you can slow it down by hitting the wheels, which I gotta admit, I did not know you could do that. Until I accidentally placed a splash mine next to it, so yeah, I found that out by complete accident. However though, what gets even more confusing is the way you have to actually damage this boss. Once you hit the wheels, which is optional to be fair, but it makes it a million times easier, you have to go up on top of the boss's back and go to the hatch. And then, when it opens up, then you can damage it. So not only is it completely up to the game to decide when the hatch opens, which isn't too difficult, and not too unlucky, but it's just kinda annoying, that's all. Yeah, anyways. And yes, that is T-Bon right there. He looks like a total dingus. Another Bon boss! Why didn't I see that coming? I swear, guys, I'd rather fight more Hamuru dolls, despite them being pathetically easy, than having to fight all these Bons. Like, come on, I prefer the Reaver bots. Oh yeah, that's another thing. There are two types of bosses in this game. The Bons and the Reaver bots. I prefer the Reaver bots personally because they look cooler and more intimidating. However, the Bons aren't bad, they're just kind of repetitive and have the same design. Kind of goofy, polygonal-like character or mech designs or whatever, and kind of a pushover to beat. But this one wasn't actually a pushover, believe it or not. Now, I'm not lying or making up when I say this. Me and my brother died on this boss 5 times. And to be fair, 2 of them we did escape when we had the chance during the branching path decision moment. However, the boss itself is a pain to deal with. It is just, oh, I swear guys, like, there's a chase sequence before it where you can't quite damage it, but then later on in the chase sequence you can damage it, but you can't finish it off. You can't finish it off during the chase sequence. But then when you get to here where it's immobilized, then you can finish it off. I don't understand things, and this is just annoying. Okay, just gonna go through this door, and thank God it's not another Bon boss. Ugh. I'm glad that the Reaver bots finally showed up again, and this one is one of my favorite in the entire series. Yes, even more than the ones in Legends 2. And to be honest, I kind of prefer Legends 1 over Legends 2. In fact, the Reaver bots in this game looks a lot more intimidating. This boss has a name something like Garatuden. I can't pronounce it for the love of God, but you know what? I don't care. It's a cool looking boss, and yes, it does look like a stack of pancakes, but that does not mean that it's a bad boss, because it looks like a totem robot, which is kind of cool in my opinion. The next boss is another Reaver bot boss. A really good one too, considering it has multiple targets that you have to focus on. 3 Wolf Reaver bots will come up and attack you up close and personal, and occasionally shoot a jet stream of fire at you. This boss is pretty tricky too. It's not too difficult, but it is harder than Garatuden, who is my favorite boss in the entire Mega Man Legends franchise. But in all honesty, guys, these guys used to scare me. Yeah, they're polygonish now, but as a kid, they were pretty intimidating. And I love the way how this fight was set up. Like, it's a up-close and personal boss, but you're a long-range fighter. So it kind of makes you change your tactics and how you perceive things. Because Mega Man has an arm gun. It's not like he has a sword. But what I do like is how you literally don't need to be so, well, naive about it. It's really cool to play a different type of style when you're used to just standing far away from enemies that sometimes get close, sometimes get medium, sometimes get far. But with an enemy that constantly stays close, it's pretty cool because you have to constantly make some distance between it. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I like a boss that gets up close and personal when you're a long-range fighter. Minus young Xehanort and Birth by Sleep. That's a different story. The next boss is yet another Bond boss. God, come on. I'm getting sick of these guys. And girl. Anyways, this boss fight is their airship squadron and their big airship. It has 2 phases, which is okay, I guess. I just don't like the design of the Bonds, guys. They're kind of cartoony looking. I mean, yeah, they're not like bad bosses when you fight them, but in terms of ways they look, they just don't engage me. Comparing them to the Reaver bots, that is. Oh, come on. Are you kidding me? Another boss fight with the Bonds. I'm fine with there being tons of boss fights with the Bonds, but when they literally have little to no changes, minus the look of the boss and a couple attacks, I can't help, guys, but feel like the boss's structure, like how you fight it, should be different. This boss fight's alright, and it's actually pretty tricky in all retrospect. And it is my favorite Bond boss fight, in all honesty, other than the drilling robot that T-Bond had. You know, the one that, not Tron Bond, green-haired dingus guy had. You know, that guy. I swear, I thought, like, T-Bond's name was, like, something to the effect of Tinker Bond? I don't know, guys, but anyways, this boss fight was actually pretty tricky on our first run, and it's actually the last fight you have to fight with the Bonds, so that's a thing. It's a pro because it is kind of cool to fight something so big, but again, the driller robot that T-Bond had was just a bit, you know, earlier in the game, and it was already big as is, so it's kind of felt repetitive. I mean, this isn't a bad boss, it's just, in all honesty, guys, I feel like this boss could have been better, even though it is the very last Bond boss fight. I felt like they could have done more with it, rather than just make you fight a giant robot. Like, yes, I get that's what the Bonds did, like, why not like a Blumbears thing, where there's like 3 bots, for one for T-Bond, one for Tron Bond, and one for Bond, and like they all gang up on you. That would be a fun fight. And I'd be fine if it was just 3 of these things. Just with split health bars, obviously. But man, it gets under my skin sometimes. The Bonds aren't bad characters, but I just prefer the Reaver bots, guys. That's just me. There they are. All 3 of them in one robot. Wow. Alright, let's move on to the next boss. The next boss is another Reaver bot boss. And this one's set very late in the game. But I gotta be honest, guys, this is easily my least favorite Reaver bot boss in the series. I mean, sure, it's alright in design, but it takes forever to get through because you have to let it spawn enemies, and its only weak point shows when it spawns enemies. It's kind of like a cargo freighting train with, instead of wheels, legs, which is a cool designing concept, but it looks ridiculous when it shoots enemies out of its behind. I mean, it's not bad, it just takes forever to get through. So, not all the Reaver bot bosses are good. In fact, I actually really liked the Blumbears first boss. That boss fight was pretty good, and the music track in the background was okay too during the Blumbears fight. But this fight just felt repetitive and tedious. I mean, look how boring it is, even with the best Buster upgrade. It comes to show that, you know, I'm not just being biased saying the Reaver bots are better than the Bonds, because I actually prefer the final Bond boss fight over this one. But in all honesty, guys, this boss fight sucks. Like, it's not a bad boss, it's just not as good as the others. I mean, I certainly would play it over young Xehanort, because unlike young Xehanort, where he's cheap, this boss fight just feels long. But not in a good way kind of long. Anyways, you shoot this boss a bunch, and I still can't believe that this guy, even though he's using the Max Buster upgrade on hard mode, is still taking this long in this Reaver bot. Like, I did have to borrow this footage, by the way, guys, so that's a thing I had to do. But there is one thing, though, I do like about this boss, and that's the setting. It looks kind of cool in this, like, space, like, sea area. I don't know where it is exactly. I don't know if it's in space. I don't know if it's underwater. It's kind of hard to tell, honestly, because, to be honest, I had my brother play this boss because I just got bored facing it. That's the truth, guys. I hate to admit it. But the next boss, however, is one of the best in the entire franchise. And it's also the final boss. Confusingly enough, named Megaman Juno is this guy with pink hair. Which sounds weird enough for a Megaman of a different model, but then this happens.
Trap. You are, however, too late. Eden was activated as soon as I entered this room. It cannot be deactivated as long as I, the master key of this island, remain here in this control room. All that remains now is to wait for Eden to enter transmission range and send the command to execute the reinitialization of this island. Once that command is received, the 10,000 workers aboard Eden will execute it immediately. My estimates indicate their work will be completed in less than 5 minutes. Now that Eden has been activated, any further interference from you will remain on file, thus tarnishing my operating record. Fortunately, you are suffering from memory loss and fragmentation. Therefore, as keeper of this island, I hereby exercise my prerogative of correctional dispensation.
Prerogative of correctional? What?
Allow me to rephrase. I will exercise my authority to terminate your program.
I'm sorry, guys. Come on. Could they have made Megaman Juno any less intimidating? I mean, his fight is definitely the best fight in the entire game, even more than Garatuden. I may prefer Garatuden as a character, but I prefer Megaman Juno as a boss. Anyways, why I'm laughing, guys, is because, come on, Megaman Juno is not that intimidating for a final boss. He talks softly, he has pink hair, but that is not anywhere close to his voice, the way he's just so calm even though the world is at stake and all the humans are going to be cleansed. I mean, what is up with this, guys? Like, I understand Megaman Juno is supposed to be a very well-developed lore character, but he is kind of bad, in my opinion. But you know what? He's so bad that it's amusing, because he just... Oh my god, guys, like, seriously now. He's so cheesy.
Ready? Ready?
Megaman Juno is actually the best fight in the entire game. Garatuden I might prefer as a cooler looking boss and a cooler character, but I'm gonna be honest, guys, Megaman Juno is a lot better to fight. I mean, sure, Garatuden does have a little bit more, you know, health in terms of design, but you see, here's the thing. I couldn't use the Max Buster footage for this one because that one did include the cutscene before, so this guy's just using the default Buster, with a couple upgrades, obviously. But my point is this, guys. What the heck? Like, Megaman Juno, he's easily the best fight. He has quite a few attacks too, including laser arms, a charge attack, a ground explosion stomp. and even a laser spiral, which is actually pretty difficult to avoid. But he has so many lines that kill what could have been an awesome character, like, how about this? Or, take this? Or, let's see you dodge this? Like, come on, guys. This is a bit of a miss, if you ask me. I mean, the boss fight is certainly more difficult, and it's definitely the most difficult fight in the entire game, but it is not by any means a cool character. I mean, Mega Man Juno I do prefer over Mega Man Legends 2's final boss, that's for sure.
What was that? My. It would appear that I have made an error.
No!
You were nearly successful in terminating my life support subroutine functions. But do not be disappointed. It appears it will take longer than anticipated for Eden to reach its optimal altitude. If you can terminate me before then, you will be able to stop it. Assuming you are capable of deactivating me.
What?
God, really? Again? Come on, game. What is it with the goofy final boss design? I mean, yes, some of the other bosses were goofy looking, but come on, Mega Man Juno does not look intimidating in this new body. He just looks like an oversized giraffe with long arms. But I can safely compliment the music for having some atmosphere. I mean, I don't really think an organ that plays like a suspenseful church theme or whatever fits this battle perfectly. But I gotta give it props for being original, because Mega Man Juno does seem like the very, we must conceal the power and, you know, not let the humans overpopulate the world or whatever. I gotta admit, it does fit the atmosphere pretty well, but as a battle theme, I think it could have been a little bit better. But at least it fits the atmosphere of the cutscenes, and admittedly, the setting pretty well. But I'm gonna be honest, guys, Mega Man Juno, even though he is the best fight, he is at least better than Mega Man Legends 2's final boss. Mainly because I've only seen footage of it, and it just looks boring. Here, it looks more challenging than the other one, but I'm gonna be honest, guys, this is easily my favorite boss in Mega Man Legends history. I mean, I may prefer Garchuden as a boss that looks cooler, but here, Mega Man Juno actually was a decent final boss. I mean, yeah, his design is goofy, and the music is okay, I guess. But that doesn't mean the boss fight itself is bad, because it certainly is challenging, especially on hard mode. And if you go for this boss fight on hard mode with literally almost little to no energy canteens, let me just wish you good luck. I cannot do it, guys, and I've played Mega Man for years. Not this one specifically, but I've played Mega Man games for years, and I had trouble doing so, like getting just down to half health on both phases. So that is a problem if you try to play this on hard mode without the Max Buster, and, most importantly, a ton of energy canteens. But even so, this fight is still a pretty decent finale, just not the best in the world in the Mega Man franchise. I mean, it's the best one in the Mega Man Legends franchise, considering there's only 2 games, not including Misadventures of Tron Bonne. But, you know, I'm fine with that. Anyways, I'm Quint866. Have a good one, guys. I'm sorry if this video dragged on for a little bit, but that's all I can really say for now about Mega Man Legends. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all next time.
Hand-to-hand combat. However, I was successful in keeping you occupied long enough for Eden to achieve optimal altitude before you could interfere. This is Mega Man Juno, Bureaucratic Model 3rd Class, Authorization Number 8677, requesting a reinitialization of this island's systems and a memory backup of its bureaucratic systems.
Stop! Stop it!
If you wish to shoot me, please do not hesitate. My program has already been backed up in Eden's central core. I eagerly await my next activation.